Firma FRAI, gegründet 1904.
FRAI was founded in 1984 in St. Conrad near Gmünden. From the very beginning, we have specialized in the automation of machine tools. This ranges from classic gantry loaders to the simplest robot cells. Of course, it can also be intelligent, master computer-controlled systems, which can be used to implement multiple interlinking of machines. Here, the ERP system receives the orders and can then process them fully automatically in the cell.
Vollautomatisch abarbeiten lassen.
So FRAI primarily automates WFL machines.
Nein,
No, not primarily. As I said, we have been a wholly owned subsidiary of WFL since 2018. We are therefore ideally geared towards automation solutions for WFL multi-turn machines. But of course, we also offer automation solutions for all machine tools.
What are the main advantages of an automation solution? Which economic efficiency can be achieved?
In principle, an automation cell is always a relief for the environment. In other words, in the end, it really is possible to achieve unmanned or unmanned operation. This usually starts with simple machine loading and unloading, which could of course also be carried out by one employee, but in real working life, night shifts or weekend work are particularly difficult to staff. For us, this means that automation always leads to an increase in output. Accordingly, it also increases the efficiency of a machine tool. It is essential to utilize the machines as fully as possible and reduce non-productive times.
What are typical projects that you are able to realize?
I would say the classic robot cell, which has become increasingly popular in recent years. That is the classic loading and unloading of work pieces in the individual machines. However, the focus is now clearly shifting towards making the automation cell much more complex. First and foremost, our customer wants to ensure that the workpiece loading process is reliable. However, it is also important for us to be able to optionally change tools, clamping juice, or the tail stock in order to ensure an unmanned operation in the long term.
So it's all about generating the best output of the robot.
Exactly right. Not only the robot, but also a classic gantry cell must of course be brought along downstream. In other words, simply an automation cell.
Is it nowadays even possible to operate without automation?
In the meantime, of course, it is possible if you have a batch size of one and therefore always interact with the machine tool. But we all know that the shortage of skilled workers is increasing, not decreasing. And I don't want to, let's say, count employees out and decimate them. I want to give them meaningful work. This does not mean that the employee should only load and unload the work pieces. They should take comprehensive care of the automation cell, and as a result, their work should be more highly qualified so that the customer can generate more output at the end of the day.
What points should be considered if someone is interested in such a project?
As a rule, the first consideration is the level of the required automation. Particularly in the initial phase, the customer wants a great deal and imagines a highly complex system. If there are not yet any points of contact with automation, we always recommend first examining the entire basic process in order to create a truly customized system for the customer that can subsequently be expanded with a high degree of flexibility. But I would say that, essentially, it is important to simply present the automation function, i.e., loading and unloading work pieces or changing grippers. It is important to have a highly flexible system, but not to immediately present a high-end expansion solution because there is often a very strong inhibition threshold among employees at the beginning. As a result, the system may not be operated correctly, which could prevent the necessary output. So you really need to approach automation step by step.
How can you support customers in this process?
In the initial meeting, we really see ourselves first and foremost as an advisory function. In other words, we try to examine the product with the customer. What should be automated? This is where we sometimes make our recommendations. And through this interaction, combined with our many years of experience, we've been in business for 39 years, you can really tell that we can pick up the customer and guide them in the right direction. We really see ourselves as a long-term partner. We don't just want to sell a cell, we want to win a long-term customer and really find the optimum solution for them.
Can you briefly introduce the automation cell that is presented at the WFL technology meeting?
With this M35 system, we have designed a cell together with WFL that addresses what the customer might need in the future. classic workpiece loading and unloading, shaft parts, chuck parts, a robot with a payload of 210 kilograms. We have also included a gripper change. In this way, we really capture the basic functionality. In the further expansion stage, we also have a camera system on the left. This means that we have implemented a 2D camera that the robot picks up like a gripper, moves to the defined deposit location, and thus records the component geometries on the deposit. Why did we do this? When implementing a component in the future, every customer usually has the problem of templates and special templates. In the last 5 years, however, camera solutions have developed really excellently in the sense that you can implement a solution with relatively little effort. The special template moves away. I can transfer my components to the pallet accordingly. The robot takes the images, calculates the offset itself, gets the right gripper via the gripper changing system, and then operates the machine sustainably. Another feature of this cell, we can also insert and replace HSK63 tools, which are used specifically for heavy-duty machining. WFL is known for difficult-to-machine materials, which means short tool life in the tools themselves, and the tool space in the magazine is very often insufficient. Automation can also have a lasting effect on these tools. In other words, we have created a short magazine where 8 nurse tools can be inserted at the storage location, which can of course be replaced again and again via the drawer. This means that I can stock up during the night shift when I really need the second or third tool. And of course, we are also equipped for the future in this respect. We presented a Barufaldi turret at the back of our second demo trade fair cell and on the demo cell. This may also find its way into a WFL in the future, so that these classic Eppinger tools can also be loaded and unloaded with the robot.
Zukünftig in eine WFL Einzug finden wird, wo man auch diese klassischen Eppinger Werkzeuge mit den Roboter be- und entladen kann.
Is the camera technology part of your automation cell, or is it a supplementary option?
No, the camera cell is always an add-on, as it is of course also associated with costs on the customer side at the end of the day. The simple variant that we have now installed here is a 2D camera, which really allows me to get the offset of the components. When I talk about a bin picking system, we naturally have a much higher investment to consider. But you really have to say that camera systems have simply developed very, very well in this respect in recent years. AI has found its way into camera systems, and you can really see that these self-learning systems provide an advantage in terms of angle, focus, and geometry, even in automation.
Does FRAI develop the software itself?
Ultimately, we purchase the classic software development also from the camera manufacturer. We can't be the experts everywhere, and we also make it very clear that we don't focus on this, but instead rely on proven suppliers, and then work with them to make the project a success.
Does it mean that there is only one point of contact for the customer?
That's correct. It is important for us to develop complete solutions for our customers. Together with WFL, we can also implement complex turnkey projects. Customers want to obtain the machine tool, automation and peripherals, as well as the service from a single source. We guarantee the cost effectiveness, productivity, and durability of the system.
Which areas of application and customers are being addressed with the mobile cell?
The mobile cell, which we presented at the in-house exhibition 2 years ago, is a classic hybrid cell. It combines 2 proven systems. One is a classic, driverless transport vehicle that can navigate in the cell or in the surrounding area. The other is the highly flexible robot cell, which I can transport from A to B with this AGV. In other words, which customer criterion should generally be addressed if they have not built greenfield? Not all systems standing in a line, but I say 20, 30, 40, 50, or 150 meters difference between the individual machine tools. These are not aligned in a straight line, where you can then transport the robot cell from A to B and thus load the machine tooling. This means that the component size is at least 120 kilograms, the processing time is at least 45 minutes, and at least 2 or 3 machines are required for the automation cell so that a sustainable output can be generated. This means that we drive in front of the cell. We index ourselves via a Capcom system, establish a hardware interface via a server coupler, and can therefore actually operate like a normal robot cell, loading and unloading work pieces, inserting tools, or even prism tools, which is a very important topic. This means 3 tool machines can theoretically share one prismatic tool in order to work even more economically. The customer clientele includes machinable materials, correspondingly higher weight classes, and a minimum machining time of 45 to 50 minutes.
45 bis 50 Minuten.
In your opinion, in around 10 years, will machine tools only be sold with automation?
Well, if you simply look at the current trend, you can see cost savings everywhere. A shortage of employees, skilled workers are simply no longer available, the selected personnel are no longer available at all. You can actually feel that there is no way around automation. We can already see what has developed alone in the last 3, 4, 5 years as a result of the well-known crises. In future, it will actually be a novelty to offer anything anywhere without automation.